The paper tore too loudly in the quiet living room. Not a rip, more like a small violence, the kind that announces itself even when no one speaks. Shiny boxes bloomed open like smiles with teeth. Blue and silver light flickered across faces already trained to receive. My daughter's hands froze midair, empty, while the others lit up their iPhone 17 Pro, screens reflecting in wide, excited eyes. My mother-in-law, Claudia, laughed softly, polite, surgical. "Oh," she said, already turning away. "Those are for family." The room seemed to pause. I felt the house inhale. The walls listened. My daughter, Manu, lowered her hand slowly, as if sudden movement might make the moment worse. She didn't cry. She didn't ask. She swallowed her name like she'd been practicing for years. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't blink. I stared at the smile that had just cut my child out of the room with the precision of a scalpel. That was the moment I decided how this would end. I married into her gravity. Everything bent toward her approval. Holidays, conversations, even the furniture seemed arranged to face her opinion. When my father-in-law died, she moved into our guest room temporarily, trailing casseroles and advice like smoke that clung to everything. Free rent, free utilities. Her rules. She framed it as help, as sacrifice, as grief. And at first, I believed her, or maybe I just wanted to. I learned the choreography quickly. Thank yous timed just right. Silence when she corrected my parenting. Disagreements softened into questions. She never raised her voice. She didn't need to. Control was her native language. She called my daughter sweetheart, dear, that little one, but never by her name. Names give shape. Names admit belonging. She's so delicate, she'd say, tilting her head with false sympathy. A euphemism she wielded like a blade. My daughter isn't delicate. She's careful. She counts steps. She notices tone. She listens for shifts in air pressure the way other children listen for ice cream trucks. She was 6 when she learned to read faces for exits. I told myself I was protecting peace. I told myself family requires patience. I told myself a lot of things to sleep at night. The gifts were wrapped identically. Same paper, same ribbon, same careful weight. Uniform generosity with one precise omission. I watched my mother-in-law that morning the way you watch a clock when you know it's lying. Her eyes slid past my daughter like she was furniture. Her hand lingered on the others, affectionate, possessive. This was an impulse. It was rehearsed. Later, while clearing cups and crumpled paper, I found a receipt on the counter. 5 iPhone 17 Pro. Not 6. I stood there, the paper warm in my fingers, and felt something inside me harden, crystallize into certainty. This wasn't favoritism. This was a message. I asked her once, calmly, alone, no witnesses, no raised voices. She didn't even hesitate. "She's not really part of the family," she said, as if explaining the weather. "Not by blood." She smiled like a verdict already passed. In that smile, I saw my daughter's future written small and justified. Holidays with gaps. Photos where she stood just outside the frame. A childhood spent learning to accept less because someone else had decided her worth for her. My chest burned. My hands went steady. Anger didn't scream. It focused. I didn't confront her then. I cleaned the kitchen, folded laundry, listened. Silence became my tool. I noted dates, texts, the way she used we when she meant me, the way she corrected my daughter's posture, her volume, her existence, all under the banner of help. I reviewed the lease. My name, my husband's name, not hers. I printed bank statements showing every bill paid by us. I backed up security footage, not because I expected lies, but because truth deserves witnesses. At night, I watched my daughter sleep, her fingers curled around a book instead of a phone. She looked peaceful only when unconscious. That broke something open in me. I promised her nothing. I prepared everything. The next morning, I set the phones on the dining table. 5 gleaming iPhone 17 Pro, aligned and personal. She entered with her coffee, already pleased with herself. I spoke gently. "You have 24 hours. She laughed. "For what? To leave?" Her smile cracked, then hardened. "You can't be serious." "I am." She gestured around the room, confident. This is my son's house. Our house, I corrected. And you're living here for free. Her voice sharpened. Over a phone? No, I said. Over a boundary. I slid the receipt toward her. Then the lease. Then the printed messages where she explained in her own words why my daughter didn't qualify as family. She tried everything: guilt, tears, authority, history, obligation. I stayed still. I won't have someone who erases my child living under my roof, I said. You taught me what family means. I listened. She looked at the phones like allies that had betrayed her. Too late. She understood the math. 24 hours. No negotiation. She left with 2 suitcases and her pride folded badly. The house exhaled. That evening, I took my daughter for ice cream. She chose strawberry. She always does. Predictable. Safe. I didn't buy her a phone. I bought her time. Later, I tucked her in and said, "You belong." She nodded, like she already knew, but needed to hear it anyway. Justice doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just changes the locks and lets the quiet heal. Family, I learned, is who you protect, even when it costs you something. And I'd pay that price again, with a smile.